Lately, much of the world has been getting a crash course in Ukrainian geography. Kyiv, Mariupol, and Lviv are some of the cities we've been hearing a lot about. Well, we're going to take a closer look at Odesa. It's a strategic port city on the Black Sea. Tonight's feature report comes from NBC's Molly Hunter.
For weeks, this strategic port city has been at the ready, waiting anxiously on the brink. In the corner of the southwest coast, the city of a million is mostly Russian-speaking. Once a prominent feature of the Russian Empire, it's known as the Jewel of the Black Sea, and very much on Putin's wish list.
It is the strategic location. It is the biggest seaport. In this way, you control our trade, you can control our export, you control our navy, the whole maritime domain. So you are controlling not only Odessa, you are controlling the whole coastal line, and even controlling a little bit of the NATO countries, Bulgaria and Romania, because it is so close. But Putin needs us to surrender, not to fight.
But this is not what surrender looks like.
So when you spend all this money, when you spend all these efforts, you created the myths, you need it paid back. So you need the city to surrender and to demonstrate that all people are happy to see the Russian soldiers.
But Odessa's not going to do that. Because I've talked to people in Odessa, I've talked to the Navy, and no one is going to put
Exactly. One of the reasons Odessa really like freedom. Yeah. Russian is everything except freedom. The Russians are destroying the part of the Russian culture by themselves. So if you look what they're ruining and what we are the most afraid in Odessa, but not only here, they're ruining part of the Russian culture. They're ruining Russian Orthodox churches. We already have more than 50 being bombed in monasteries because they're ruining exactly what they are claiming that they are protecting.
At the center of the city, the famed Opera House has survived 2 world wars. Right now, it's one of the most heavily fortified buildings in the country. Lead choreographer Gary Savoyan says it's the heart and soul of Odessa.
What does it feel like when you walk into work into this building?
The building itself urges you to create, he says. The building has a great history. It's the best theater in the world, he says. His last performance was the night before the war started, February 23rd. It was the Nutcracker. But today, this is as close as we can get, like most downtown, now under military protection.
Now, we can't show you any of the military positions. We can't show you the checkpoints at almost every single intersection. What I can show you is the sandbags, the tires, the huge hedgehogs. This city is fortified in the historic city center, and they're ready for a fight.
We visited a defense training facility, part blacksmith, part boot camp, all volunteers. And they're making steel body armor to send to the front. Yuri says he has relatives inside Russia, like so many here in Odessa, but they've cut off communication.
You stopped talking to your relatives in Russia?
Yes, he says, because of the way they support their country. They have the internet, he says. Civilians here are learning basic weapons handling. Not many are up to the task of joining serious fighting forces, but they want to be able to defend their families if they need to. Igor last fought in the Russian army in Kazakhstan in the late 70s. After all these years, he says, he's starting from scratch. He never thought he'd have to pick up another gun. 31-year-old Diana is a pediatrician born and raised here in Odessa with little field experience.
So you're now training them?
Yeah.
How to do basic field medical care?
I will shout at them and kill them all, she says. The entire city is now in defense mode, known for its seaside resorts. Many of the famed white sand beaches are now mined, according to officials here, ready for an amphibious attack.
Now, there are no civilians on this beach. Normally, it would be packed with people, but the Russians have blockaded the Odessa port, so we're not seeing any cargo ships coming in, nothing coming in or going out. If there is an attack on this strategic port, it's going to come from out there.
One of the highest-ranking Ukrainian naval officers on shore, Vladislav Nazarov, says the Russian warships off the coast move in and out. Psychological warfare. We will kill them, drown them, he says. They have no options.
So you don't think they can take Odessa? They're going to sink.
We will sink them, and it will be fish feeding season, and our fish will grow fat. Just down the beach, we met 77-year-old Ludmila Ivanovna. She was staring out at the waves. I can't understand their logic, she says. Do you?
I don't know.
She swims here every morning, usually starting now in April. Those are the optimists, she says, looking over at a group already in their swimsuits. We can't be afraid, but no one will ever forget this. But when exactly the Russians might launch an attack right here on central Odessa from the air or from the sea, no one here quite knows.
I believe that it can be even in 1 hour.
Nikolai Vikansky is running a volunteer hub. Until recently, it was a trendy food court.
And this used to be a bar.
It was a bar with oysters and champagne.
Or Aperol Spritz. And who are your volunteers? They all look like 25-year-olds, kind of young people who want to...
The people who used to eat here in the food market.
Are now volunteering here.
Yes, absolutely.
So young, hipsters.
Hipsters, youngers.
But for Nick, like many here, descendants of previous waves of refugees, history is repeating itself.
I'm Jewish, for example. Yeah. So yes, this is like this is second time genocide in my family life. The first time they tried to kill us because we were Jewish. Now they want to kill us because we are Ukrainian. But we are strong, and everything will be okay.
Defiance runs throughout these streets, and below them, another vestige of World War's past. We head underground this bunker, a web of tunnels last used in World War II.
How deep we underground?
It's reopened now for those choosing to stay.
This is where you come during the air raid siren?
And it stretches back for about a mile, winding up at a secret nuclear bunker that Soviet secret police added in the 50s.
You have Wi-Fi and everything down here.
It's not fit for purpose, crumbling, molding, very humid. But this city remembers its history. Now, for those staying, an estimated half the city, they're fighting any way they can, doing everything they can to protect their heritage.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.